Dun, 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 dun. There were 3, but now there's 2. Just me and you. Tiggy, what we gonna do?
We're gonna make a
don't
show, and it's gonna be good.
Cheers to Blasi. Happy trails, my brother. Stay safe out there. We'll see you soon, buddy.
Happy trails, my man. Happy trails. All right, welcome back to what might be the realest run of shows that we've ever done. If you heard last week's episode, you know that we peeled back a few layers. We got real about where we're headed, and a lot's happened since then. I've been out at events, getting some feedback, making moves. JR has recorded his first solo show that will be dropping very soon. So tonight, JR and I are going to catch up, let things breathe a little bit, and talk about what comes next. Because, oh, hell yeah, there is a next. And at some point in this episode, you're going to hear something that changes the whole landscape of this show. But first, let's check in. JR's here. We got a whole mess of random stuff to get into, too, if we get the time. From grocery store conversations to who knows what else. What is up, JR? What is going on, my brother?
That just reminded me of a story I didn't tell, and I'm going to tell it on my new JR the Handler show, the music show, too. But that just reminded me, dude, this is so random. But so the other night, my dog's been itchy. Lola girl's been itchy lately. And so we've been giving her Apoquil, which is from the vet, is to help her with her itch, and she can take 2 a day. So the other night, we try not to give her 2 a day unless she really needs it. But, she's been real itchy with springtime and summer kicking in. So the other night, I thought, Sharice said, would you give her Apoquil yet? I said, no. I said, I will before I go to bed. So I thought about it. I said, well, let me just go get her one now. It's like midnight. So I go get her one out, put it in my hand. I go to get the peanut butter out. As I get the peanut butter out, I think, hell, I want some peanut butter also, right?
Yeah.
So I get me a couple dollops of peanut butter. I said, well, I got some nuts over here. I might as well eat a handful of nuts with the peanut butter and a little piece of dark chocolate to complete this trifecta of late night indulgence, right?
For sure.
So my second handful of nuts, I realized there was a funny taste. And I thought, wow, I must have got a husk, or a hull. It must have been a pecan hull. Kind of tastes like a pecan hull. And then I double checked and said, wait a minute, where's Lola's medicine? And it's not in my hands. Boy. So I chomped on Lola's Apoquil. I didn't swallow it all down. I got most of it. I spit some back up. I still had some in my mouth. But then I immediately go into panic mode thinking, can humans take Apoquil that's made for my dog? Which I'm thinking, well, surely anything that's for my smaller dog than me should be fine for me. But let me double check. And mild symptoms, but nothing to report. I was fine. But that just
you did have mild symptoms.
Well, I didn't have any. Yeah, that I noticed. Besides me panicking, and then I attributed them to all just my self-awareness on that. I just take my dog's medication at midnight when I knew I didn't need a snack anyway. It was like divine punishment for I didn't need a snack at that time anyway. So
oh my God, yeah, that's exactly what you get at that late night.
That's what I get.
Yeah, peanut butter's a killer for me too. Like whenever I'm really legit trying to keep it straight, I got to cut out peanut butter.
Yeah,
it's so easy at the end of the night. Like, you know what? I just need a little snacky packy right here. Yeah. Give me a little snacky packy. One big old dollop, which is really probably 4 tablespoons. Let's be honest, that you eat, and you're like, you get 2 of them. Shit. I mean, you just chunked on 200 plus calories.
Right. If I could
right at the end. Nice.
Because it's better than a lot of things you could be eating, especially if you got some good organic, good peanut butter that's not got a bunch of crazy stuff in it. But yeah, like you said, portion control it, because you read the back, you're like, oh, that's not too bad. I'll get 2 tablespoons. Yeah, but when you heap it up not on there, it's more like not a chance 2.5 per scoop.
So. No way. Yeah, I do the same thing. Then occasionally I'm like, you know what? Honey's good for your sinuses.
Absolutely.
Let me take this ball, put a little honey on this
chocolate,
thing.
Good for your heart. Might as well just pile it all up there.
Hell, we're all one in the same, aren't we?
And then at that
Yes.
point, I'm like, well, I need to put it on a saltine to hold all this up. Well, saltine's not good for me, but all this other stuff is, so it'll overpower how bad the saltine
Yes.
is for me, or the
Oh my
or
God.
banana.
And the balance that you get with the saltine, a banana
Yeah.
also gives you that balance and a little fiber and some potassium.
Yeah.
Yeah, great combo.
Yeah. So, but so that was my random what's happening with old JR lately was that.
That's hilarious.
Also record, like you mentioned, I did record my first podcast,
Yeah, man.
the JR the Handler show, this a couple days ago. Eagerly waiting that to drop. I know some people have asked on socials when and where they can find it. Trust me, as soon as it is ready, everyone will know. Tweaking the stuff there at the end. I didn't have anything else ready. I'm technically uninclined and illiterate on a lot of this stuff, how it works. So when I getting it set up and sent over and all that stuff, I didn't have any of my other things prepared to package a podcast ready when I said go. So I preemptively probably shouldn't have said it was coming out as soon as I did, but that just forces me to have to do
It
something.
just
Sometimes
makes
when
you,
you're forced to
yes,
do something, you just do it.
you're gonna make it'll happen.
So yeah, so we're working on that. I thank you to Roger Lee Coleman for sending me some guitar licks today that will be used in the show. I'm gonna have him on
Oh,
to talk about
nice.
Roger builds guitars as well. I'd love to have him on Tigs Bits because he'd be unique. I'd love to get him and like somebody else, another tradesman like on that to talk about the inside of what um, the new, post COVID world looks like for small businesses like that,
Yeah,
artesian
it'd be
craftsmen,
fascinating.
because you think about what it probably used to be and now what their costs are. We wait a couple months and see how everything shakes out and have them on. But anyway, I want to say thank you to Rogers. He sent me some guitar stuff over today we're going to use for the show
Cool.
and a few other things. But it's coming together, and once we get all that, it will be out on all platforms. First guest I had was pretty fun. It was my old buddy
Well,
that I had.
you tease this on your
Yeah,
social medias,
yeah, yeah,
uh, heading back to God's country, one of those
yeah,
guys, and
yeah,
I knew exactly. You hadn't even told us, but I knew exactly who you were talking about, but I couldn't answer.
yeah.
I
It's
wanted
actually,
to.
yeah, it's a tour manager buddy of mine, and that's what I'm going to have on the show a lot is different people that work in the business and not
Hmm.
necessarily just the artists. I'm gonna get some band guys, crew, production side, tour managers, assist tour managers, managers, all that kind of stuff too on the show.
Oh
So I thought
man,
the first one, since he randomly, I thought about how good a guest he would be. I put him in a short list of a few I wanted early on the show that I thought, man, that they're interesting to me. I know they'll be interesting to everyone else. So
oh
I just need to
yeah.
get them on early. And I'm sitting on the bus in North Carolina this past Thursday, the 3rd, April 3rd. I was in North Carolina and the phone rings and I look down and it's this guy. And I was like, what's going on, buddy? He called about something else. I told him I was doing the podcast. He said, absolutely. He said, I've never done one. I'd love to do it.
What?
You tell me when and where. So I said, what do you got going on Monday? I said, you home? He said, man, we're only doing 20 something shows this year. Yeah, I'm home a lot. So, uh,
Wow.
so I hit him up Monday. It's Morgan Wallen's tour manager, and
There
they
it
had just
is.
played. Yeah,
There it is.
They had just played SNL.
Yes.
The week before, and Morgan was in all the headlines for. I mean, what a slow week in the news cycle when that's on everything there is, and so
He just
we
walked
talk
towards
about.
the camera. I don't really
Yeah,
think he meant
I thought he
anything
was going to
by
dap
it.
up the crowd. I didn't know. Yeah. So anyway, we get into that a little bit. He gives a
Oh,
little
good.
perspective at because he was there, obviously, and
That's
things
a
like
hell
that.
of a
But we,
first get,
yeah,
JR, for your
yes,
first
but
show.
well,
I
like
mean,
I said, it
that's what
was
I'm talking about because of what's happening.
yeah. Well, I wanted him to come on because I literally put him in a short list of like 3 or 4 people, and I was just telling Justin my idea about the 3 or 4 people, and that'd be great. And then a minute later, my phone rings and it's him, and I'm like, well, it's intervention there. So
There it is.
he was like, I'm all about it. So that just worked out. Um, and then I've got a couple more of those lined up. I think I'm gonna, we're not pressing anybody on it. I'm not trying to make anybody arrange their
Yeah.
stuff. I'm like, if you're home, I'll get somebody. If not, I'll just do the show myself. But most of the time, people in my business are home on Mondays, and that's kind of our
Right.
Saturday or Sunday when you're just resting at home or getting errands done. So hopefully I'll be able to keep that going. But we had a great time catching up. We talked about that for just a short little bit. So spoiler alert here, you're not going to get any inside,
There's not a big. You're
there's
not.
not a big
Nothing's going to go
scandal there.
viral from a clip from it.
No. Well, it probably will just because it's on that subject. And
If
no one
I
else
have
has
anything to
commented on
do
it.
with it whenever it comes out, I'm going to clip it up. Permission is granted from JR. I didn't ask
Of
yet, but
course.
he already, yeah. We're
Of
going to
course.
make it eat.
Well, you think about
y'all put
you know,
you put it out too. The more you put it out, the more it could eat.
yeah, and if it doesn't come out soon, it'll be over because you know how short the attention span is in the news cycle.
It needs to come
circulates
out
these
within
days.
like a week, honestly.
Yeah.
So, but hopefully by the
So-
time you're hearing this, whenever you're hearing this, hopefully JR's podcast is out. I'm rooting for it. You think it'll be
I'm
a
hoping
week?
to have it out
You
next
think
day or
next
two,
10
hopefully.
days? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping. I
Excellent.
mean, it's done. It's just got to get done. And like I said, I didn't record it properly. I used the Zoom machine, and I forgot to separate the audio when it recorded because I haven't used it in forever. And took me forever to get my camera set up and my battery dying and my so. But I need a new
Episode
laptop.
1, baby. It's rookie moves. You knew it would happen. You got to get it out.
Yeah, and I was late getting set up and getting everything turned on. So then I didn't have my notes written down, and he was ready beforehand because he was bored at home. So I didn't have I didn't ask any of
the one.
Yeah, I didn't have any of my questions in my little routine, my schedule that or my kind of outline that I wanted to do laid out. So I didn't get to do any of that. But it was a great time catching up because we've known each other so long. We just riff back and forth about the good old days. His audio is not great because we didn't get it set up right, but we'll do better next time. He's going to come back on, in a few weeks and do it again when we can have more time. But I was just making sure everything runs, and I wanted to get that out the hole with a comment, and then the awards, all nominations just coming out. So we got that done, but we talked about, I didn't realize how many other artists he worked for. We talk about how he got to where he's at, which is just as unique and odd as the way I got to being a tour manager myself, so it was a great first episode.
I think that is so damn cool to have an insider's perspective of tour managers for some of the biggest acts in music. It doesn't matter what genre in music. Justin Moore is one of the biggest acts in music, and you represent the man, and you were his tour manager. And then to have Morgan Wallen, there's no doubt that dude's at the top of the damn mountain right now.
Top of the food chain, for sure.
Any artist in any genre.
Any genre. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Unreal.
They're playing, we talk about on there, they're playing, they play 11 weeks this year, and
that's it?
Two shows.
So 22 shows.
Stadiums. Same
Only
sound.
70,000 people.
Same town twice, so you don't have to move. Each night you stay the same place. You play the same. You go to a city, play there 2 nights. Next week, 2 nights, and a couple.
That's
of
when you made it, huh?
Because pretty
you
good
can make that
workload there.
As a tour manager, let me ask this: and I would think this answer is yes. So you're playing that many shows. You got to have the artists who can do that and put the butts in the seats. Number one, but you get 70,000 people 22 times. All the production's probably a lot more. Probably has bigger 18-wheelers. You have to have a bigger stage, more speakers, all that stuff.
If you're only using it 22 times compared to using it 80 or 100 times, and you're not moving it in between cities,
they'll make way more money than if they go on a 80 show tour, arena tour.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Ain't got no hardly any travel stuff. Yeah, that's like when George Strait's been doing for the last, I don't know, decade or so. He just plays the biggest place he can a couple times.
So he just makes bank when he fills Texas A&M Stadium.
You're making double-digit millions per shot.
That's why Garth Brooks went and did what he did, so he held it back.
You think about like when the Foo Fighters go play in other countries and these big rock bands play in international shows, man. I mean, you talk about it's a big leap going from a basketball gym or a amphitheater to a football stadium, and then go from a football stadium to a soccer stadium in a country in South America that holds 250,000. I mean, they can get extreme on those, but that's the top of the food chain. Yeah, when you can headline a football stadium in America, that's as big as you can get. As big as we got.
Yeah.
But
Hell of a
yeah,
first
great
guess.
workload,
That's
and
what
yeah,
I'm saying. Just a hell
and
of a
it's a
first
lot of money
guess.
because like he's saying, 40, 50 truck and bus drivers. You think a couple hundred crew people. I mean, there is a lot there,
A
but
lot bigger
it's
production in that
oh
kind of a
huge. I'm sure,
setting. You know,
huge. I'm
you
sure.
probably
Can't wait to see him.
quadruple the size of the team with the trucks, the people that have to set up the stage, the equipment, all that to put
Yeah.
on the show. That probably triples or
Yeah.
quadruples at
Oh
least.
yeah.
But like you're saying, it makes sense. I mean, but not everybody can do that. Not everybody can pull
No.
a whole
No.
damn stadium into their
No.
show. That's fun.
Be like
Eh,
doing a Vegas residency would be cool too, or a residency somewhere where people go to see you and you don't have to go. You think about you don't have to move the whole operation anywhere. How much money you save?
so that's why a lot of those you get your bigger artists. Let's be honest, they've kind of made their run on pop radio of whatever genre they're in, but they're still huge. They're huge stars. Now they're in Las Vegas doing these residencies, like Britney Spears, for instance. Like after her
Because
major run, she did that.
Vegas
So
is
they,
easy to get to. Yeah,
yeah,
and people from anywhere can get there, and you can specialize what audience you want instead of just pulling the X amount of these fans in
you
this
pay,
town.
you have 2,500 every
And
night
it's
or
Vegas, so
whatever.
you got the biggest, best production in the world,
Yep.
unlimited resources at these
Yeah.
casinos because they're taking free money. So it's a good rise. Branson used to be that back in the day,
Right.
kind of deal.
Is that why a lot of
Because
country
everybody from the
artists?
South could travel to Branson or
Right.
Dollywood and see
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
stars,
You
but
had a place.
instead you go there, you spend the week, you see whoever you like instead of them having to go to each town. I mean, that's
Do a lot of is that why a lot of country artists? It's not just country, but it's a lot of country folks, especially that come around down through here that I see play the casinos, like the casino tour, probably
yep,
more lucrative than just playing the varsity or the
right.
the,
Oh yeah,
the
100%.
arena, Baton Rouge Arena thing, the
Absolutely.
Kane Center, Kane's
Absolutely.
Arena,
Well,
whatever it's
they've
called,
got the casinos
Kane
all have a
Center.
built-in showroom or a venue made for it. They're
Right.
free money. They have to have entertainment for their clients, their big wigs, and they're just people in general. I always said that. Yeah, if a casino, they just want you to fill it up halfway, and if half those people who show up go spend a little money, they've paid for us times 10.
Let's talk a little bit about the show, JR. It is
Let's do
kind
that.
of
Yeah, enough about
we've
that. Yeah, so this show here, the Tigs bits. Well, we talked about last week that we were, kind of laid out that I was going to do a new show. Brantley Tiggs wants to lean into doing more of the cooking aspect and the food stuff with his content, but we still wanted to keep Tiggs bits alive here on the Bubba network and for everybody who's tuned in and listened to this. And we implored Blasi to try to take the reins on that and figure out what the next move is. And he did in one way or another. He
yeah
sidestepped us and he olayed us. And we both talked to him here today. I think I got a text.
yeah
He has been slammed with work. He's got way too much going on, probably more than he needs to just in general, much less to be trying to do the show as well. So he's going to take a leave of absence and part ways with the show for now. And we hope he's back when he's able. But as y'all heard on the show of the last couple months, he had that new job thing. He was a little worried about
right.
this and that. I don't know how much you guys heard because I don't know half the time if we're recording or not. I'm just always on, just assuming we're recording all the
That's
time.
so fair.
I
That
just
is
do.
fair.
So I don't know how much you guys know or not, but we were having to move around for his stuff, and he was really just because he got a new job and he was doing some training. He didn't know about this, and was having to go here. And I mean, we've talked
Different
to him in a
city
couple
every
different
night.
cities and states the last couple weeks. He's been traveling as much as I have. So he's just got to take a break for now. He's got too much going on. He's got a concert. He's got the boys are all knee deep in ball practice and stuff, and I get it. So
Oh yeah.
he's
Oh
going to
yeah.
take a step back. Our workloads are more manageable for what we do right now. So we're going to keep this show alive. We don't know
Hell yeah.
exactly what format and what all we're going to talk about
Nope.
every week or what, but we want some input on that. But our main goal is to churn out quality content, talk about the things that you guys and gals want to talk about and hear us comment on, have guests on that have meaning that come on so you can take something away from it. whether it's a laugh or a thought or a perspective on something,
Yeah.
and still contribute with our brothers down in Tampa with Seth and Lummy and Bubba and all of the
Yes.
knuckleheads that down there, because I love them so much. They've helped us out so much, and we still want to interact with them and get something going with that, deeper than what we have been lately, which I'm confident we will. I know actually I'm going to be down there in a few weeks, so I'm hoping to catch them there.
Nice.
Invite, see if someone will come out the show. But so anyway, nothing's going to change. Like we mentioned last week, the show's going to roll on, same bat
Roll
time,
on.
same bat place, and it will morph into whatever the
Whatever.
world lets it morph
That's it.
into. Wouldn't you
That's
say
it.
that was a fair assessment,
Dude,
Tiggy?
I couldn't say that any better. JR, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. We peeled those onions back, the layers last week. We get like kind of pulled the curtains back and just let y'all in. That's what we're about to do now. Like JR and we've talked. We know this is happening. It is super fresh, but we haven't talked. And we kind of wanted to save our talk for this show, so that maybe there's some ideas. And that's exactly, you couldn't have said it any better, JR. We definitely want you, Bubba Army, out there, you Tigs Wigs, you just listening that's never heard us before. Give us some ideas. I think this show's kind of new now. We've got a fresh new show. It's just going to be the two of us whenever we put these out. So,
And with our already condensed back to quality over quantity
yes,
theory in podcasting, meaning if we come to the plate again with guests, we don't have to pick which show we want to try to put it on or how we're going to
right.
format it, all that. We just cut a podcast like
Show,
we
got a
intended to
show.
do, like you started Tig's Bits to do, and like I ever wanted to do podcasts and listen to them, is just to cut a podcast,
Yeah.
just to rap about things that you find interesting and could enjoy the conversation, like an NPR, but not quite so nerdy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Just
Exactly.
a hair under that where I can understand. Good old boys can understand Southern perspective, the Southern culture. Since we're just talking about it, free talk here. I think that's it. When it comes to guests, the ones I've really enjoyed on this show, whether listening to your show before I came on as a co-host or since I've become a co-host, is the regional interesting regional people, whether it be a high celebrity or just because what they do
Sure.
is interesting to
Yeah.
us. But the regional characters and celebrities, like all of our buddies from the food
They're
world. I mean,
characters.
I can't even list them all. They're Austin and to the Gabs, and I mean that whole bunch
Yeah.
are all so awesome. There's anything I could ever do to help any of them, I would always do it, no matter what. So love to keep having them kind of folks on, but more of those. I would love to do one sometime with your buddy, the metal detector guy. I'd like to be on a show with him at some point. Some of these.
Absolutely.
Well, like we
Yes.
mentioned, Boo Weekly a while back, a golfer who's from Florida. It'd be fun to have him on, and
Right.
not just going for celebrities for a grab because they're a big name or would be big get, but something that's again interesting and regional and cultural to us. The I love the covering from the fringes of Texas through the beautiful lowlands of Louisiana, down the Mississippi coast, over through Alabama and southern, the Wiregrass region, down to South Alabama, through the Panhandle in South Georgia, down all the way to Florida to the Keys.
Mhm.
We concentrate in that region, and we can sprinkle it up to Atlanta, Nashville, keep it
Sure.
Birmingham, Little Rock. But I think we
It's
just
what we
channeled.
know. Keep it
Well,
to
it's like
what
we
we
always
know.
said, it's a Southern culture podcast, and
Yeah.
we're
And
the
that's what it is.
contribution for that. And I think that was the intent from day one. So that would be that just right off the top of my head. That's kind of what I would think with if we do with our guest gets. I love just
Yeah.
what I enjoy doing. I like having the fun guest on like that.
I do
And
too.
even
I
the
do too.
Bowsers, and still do some conspiracy stuff
Oh,
and some
Bowser's coming back on.
aliens or
I promise you,
whatever.
dude's
And
coming back
Murph,
on.
I have
Gotta have
Riley
Murph
on.
on.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah, yeah.
just fun stuff.
Just fun. That's the thing. We're
Fun
gonna have
stuff.
fun again, and not that we weren't having fun, but like we said last week, I think we diluted the show a little too much. It got a little too watered down. Actually got feedback from a friend of mine and a fan of the show today. We were talking, and I was kind of telling him, He's making a few changes, going through some things too. I was like, that's fun, man. Everybody's making changes right now. Like, you're the third person I talked to. And then he saw a clip that I'd put out on social media from last week's show that's out everywhere, the part 1 of this. And he was like, what's happening with your show? I saw this. What's happening? I kind of told him the 30,000 foot overview of it, which takes a minute, but gave it to him. And he was like, oh yeah, man. I think that'll be great because y'all kind of, it was y'all. I still loved it, but y'all just started talking about any and everything for a while, and I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's true. So we're kind of honing back in. JR doing music. I'm gonna be doing festivals, covering some festivals. In fact, I got asked to be a judge today. On May 17th, I will be a judge at this crawfish cook-off in Natchitoches, Louisiana.
Love it.
So that's going to be fun. Awesome. Thing that's kind of sucks is that I won't be able to like go around and see the vendors and all of them boiling the crawfish and get that footage. But I will be able to get footage inside of like me and how I judge crawfish.
Yeah, I love it. That'd be I mean, a lot of people
inside the judge.
Think how many times you've been to a event like that and wondered what's the criteria to be a judge. What are they looking for? What would they? Why did they pick this and not that? You know,
exactly.
I love
so
it.
I think that's a great perspective. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Like, these are the things that are happening with the show now. You know, so like we're rocking and rolling, man. We're moving. It's moving forward. We're going to miss our brother Blasi.
Oh yeah,
but we 100% understand.
The golden throat. Don Henley's going solo.
That's it.
No,
That's it.
Don's,
he may pop
Don's
up.
Taking a
he
break.
may pop up and have his own solo. It could be like you said last week, a complete and total retribution for what we laid out and proposed. Or it's not.
Yep. He said he said I'm out. So
I'm out. I'm out.
But I'm out. But
he did not say that, by the way. I mean, everybody, like, we gotta. He sent us both very nice, long, respectful texts of, it isn't about any of what we proposed or any of that. He had already made this decision before we had JR made the decision to make a solo show, which didn't affect us. But as far as like, he can still do his solo show and we can do this. I did tell him this. I said, look, we fully expect you whenever we go live. And if y'all don't know, Tigs tonight, the plan is to go live at 7:30 on Thursday nights. That's just what we've done for a long time. I intend to keep that up. So jump in, come join the chat, all of that. JR's usually traveling on Thursdays, but when he can jump in, he'll come in. It's going to be a looser show now to where maybe there is dead air. Maybe I just read some questions and we don't have anything for, like, I actually don't talk for maybe 10 seconds and I think for a second, that kind of stuff, which is something I'm not used to, but I'm going to take myself out of the comfort zone over on Tigs tonight a little bit, plus just bring trending topics and stuff, stuff like that. But I told Blasi, dude, please, and you've got the link, anytime you want to jump in there, please do. I know everybody would love to see you, hear from you. It would be a treat for me. It would be a treat for our fans and our audience out there. So he didn't respond or say anything, but I got a feeling that we're not done seeing Blasi. I don't think we're done seeing Blasi. We're just not going to see him every week or every 14 days or whatever. And that's another thing, like you mentioned, JR, we're going to go with a little more quality than quantity. Yeah, you may not get this Bubba show every single week. You may though.
You may not.
You may or you may not. We're gonna make this work. I want us to both get a little bit ahead with our one thing to jump into the show format. And I think we're not gonna have a format lined out tonight. We're gonna let that format evolve. But one thing that I think we should both start to bring to this show, once we have this content, like you have Morgan Wallen's tour manager, you're going to have another guest or something that you talk about on your show. Same over with me. We bring the best of those things to this show where we play the video or play the clip, play the sound bite. We talk about it. We talk about, those types of things. And I think that that segment of the show would be a lot of fun, so that the listener that are out there listening in the Bubba Army Network, know a little bit more about what we're doing in our side projects.
Right.
And,
Yes.
just
And
kind
then
of,
we'll still comment. I mean, when something funny comes up or something interesting that you want to put a video up and we watch it and then we comment on that,
for
you know,
sure.
I
For
mean,
sure.
all
And
that
we still
stuff.
plan. I still plan. I think we haven't talked about this. I still think every now and then, it won't be every single show, because it's a little easier for us to be a little bit looser, honestly, when we don't go live. And
Yep.
I think that gives you guys a better show, because some of the things that we may go off on a tangent on, maybe necessarily everything that needs to be heard out there. So, your boy does edit a little a little bit from time to time. Some things do need to be edited. So it gives us a little more freedom, but I think at least once a month we'll go live, whatever. We don't know the night. We're not going to say the night, but we'll let you know ahead of time that we're going to go live tonight, record a Bubba show. We want y'all to be a part of it. And I think that's going to continue like we've been doing. It won't be every single show. We never promised it to be every single show.
I was thinking something real quick. I was thinking about on my show, a segment I didn't do this past week, so I dropped the ball on that, but I'll do it again when I get back next week. Is we used to do it on the Justin Moore podcast. It was the number one song on the day you were born. So
Ah.
what year you got?
78.
78. Wow.
What was the number one song? I know it, but I forget it.
This was on
it
country
Staying
radio.
Alive? It was on
This is
country.
country radio.
This is country
radio. This is
I
the
have
J.R.
no idea.
edition. This is the country
I
country
have
radio.
no.
And they're always so somehow fitting to the situation, the person. Usually there's a tie in it. It's like, really? Wow, how about interesting that?
I have
All right,
no
let's see if you can guess yours. And usually it's a guess
give
thing.
me some
Right.
clue. Give me some
This
clues.
this is a female.
Okay.
She comes from a family of talented people. She was probably best known. I tell you what was really cool. There was an episode of I Almost Got Away with It about, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. There's a TV show called I Almost Got Away with It. And there was this guy who stole her tour bus and went down to Daytona and hung out on the track during the race and all that, claiming that that was her and her bus and this and that. And and then they finally tracked him. He pulled over trying to get directions back to the interstate and pulled over to a intersection, and the person he was talking to trying to get directions was a hooker, and they were watching the hookers. So that's the only reason they were like, run the number on this tour bus. And then they busted him in Daytona. He'd been stole for weeks from Nashville bus lot. Very interesting.
What?
It's the whole story's on a show called Almost Got Away with It, but there's probably a documentary on it too. But this was her bus that he stole and went down to Daytona. She's
Barbara
probably most
Mandrell.
known. She's probably most known for her long, long dark hair.
Oh, damn it. I'm not far off in the Barbara Mandrell guess.
You're not.
But
Great
I can't think of her name, but I can see her.
Her first name was also the name
Crystal Gale.
There you go. There you go.
Let's
Crystal
go.
Gale. Let's go.
go.
You know. And the name of this song. And
I don't know the name of the song. I
didn't know that. I don't even know this song, and that's Rando. And this was the 80s, buddy. I'm sure it's a gem.
It's 78.
Yeah. Oh, the 78. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is still big bunch of strings on it, I'm sure. But this song is so fitting for your emotion for us doing the show change here. The song was called Ready for the Times to Get Better. What are the chances of that being the name of the show?
What? I'm gonna when I finish this show tonight, that is going on Spotify. Yeah. I'm gonna jam that.
Ready for the Time to Get Better by Crystal Gale. When little Tiggy came into this world, and your parents were so happy that this little perfect little baby was here on this earth, and Jesus gave him to them, that the song that he let be number one that week was Crystal Gale's Ready for the Times to Get Better. And you came in and said, let this party start, baby.
Let's go.
Tiggy's here. Let's go.
I'll have a podcast in 47 years, and we'll talk about this again.
Yeah, yes. Crystal Gale will reappear in my life. And then now you're going to have to hear the song, and you're going to have to go find, I'm sure it's on YouTube, find a clip of Guy steals Crystal Gale's tour bus and goes to Daytona or something like that. It's hilarious, dude. This really happened.
I have
this
to
crazy
check that
little
out.
guy. Yeah. He had escaped from somewhere and was on the run, and he ended up on the interstate and saw these. He was kind of like that movie. There's a movie called Run, Ronnie, Run That's
think
from
I haven't.
Boerville, Georgia.
I've heard of it. I hadn't seen it.
Oh my God, this
I
guy, you
gotta
can't
see it.
catch him. He just runs. Every time somebody's trying to get him, he just runs. Ronnie just run. So that's kind of like this guy. Every time they try to catch him, he just elude them somehow. He was a little guy and he's wiry and could climb like a monkey and fit and stuff. And he could crank anything, work on any kind of mechanical. He was just but he was like a thief. I don't know.
Wow.
They were stealing he was stealing like big backhoes or something, commercial
Oh
equipment.
shit! I gotta watch.
And then he ended up on the run, and then he ended up on and all the bus lots in Nashville are right off the interstate there. They're all right off the interstate because they're huge lots, and you want to be close to interstate because you don't want to be driving a big tour bus around town. So he somehow hitchhiked to there and walked down there and walked. They said, "You the driver for this bus?" He goes, "Yeah, that's me." All right, well, keys are up there. He knew how to drive it. He takes off on Crystal Gale's bus. Next thing you know, he's at Daytona on the infield.
Damn, that's
saying
wild.
he was supposed to get with parking passes and credentials on the infield of Daytona because he's on the bus.
That's crazy.
He bullshitted
it's like the
his
dude
way
who
to get
stole
there.
the airplane. That's insane.
Insane. That
Damn,
happened. But
I love it.
That was fun. And what good, and see, that's why I always think this is fun because it's something you wouldn't really know, and it's interesting something.
Yes, let's
bounce,
bring this.
to
I
chop it up about,
I'm gonna be
and
honest.
see some of the other things I'll have, and I'll go down a couple of them, and we'll play the. This will be normally.
You
got
to bring this into your show. You need to bring this over to this show. If you don't put it in yours,
yeah, we'll do it.
This is fun.
Yeah, we'll do it here too. Yeah. And what we did, and what I'll do is if I have a guest on during the show, I'll call it the road report, and I'll get in, tell us what's going on the road, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
During that, we'll ask them this. One I do is we'll do a Mount Rushmore. We always did this on Justin's. We would ask each person what their Mount Rushmore of country music was. So I've spun it to where it doesn't necessarily. I'm still going to ask that some, but it's going to be the Mount Rushmore of bands or solo artists or types of ice cream or venues or whatever we decided. Mount Rushmore, what you're going to put on the Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
Who would your Mount Rushmore pro wrestling be, Tiggy?
Oof, that's put me on the spot. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna put Hulk, and it's not because of this show, but he's up there. He really transformed wrestling. I obviously got to put Stone Cold up there. I'm gonna put Andre the Giant because he also the way he transformed wrestling. And then as the fourth guy, Ric Flair. I mean, we're
the same age. We have to do. I mean, we picked the same. I mean, and as much as I'm not like Hogan now, and I don't even really like going back and watching his stuff. But yeah,
and Andre the Giant was really a short run.
Yeah, but when we were that prime age to get hooked, that was it. And all those stars from that era to me, and the only other ones, and that's what we always say on the country music when there's only room for four, so you can't expand. But for me, I mean, Undertaker. I was like, how do you leave an Undertaker off? And how do you leave and then other people are like, how do you leave The Rock off?
Yeah.
How do you leave Cena off? How do you leave? But then you can even go back farther.
Make an argument
how do you not put
Triple H,
Sting? How you not putting Sting on there?
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, it gets crazy. So
you can't
really
maybe make an argument for DDP.
No, so you have to break it down in specifics. You have to go your personal or best because of what they're best for, best in-ring worker, best this and that, best champion, best gimmick,
I like that.
But anyway,
That's
we'll do a Mount Rushmore section of the show, probably something along those lines, a top 3 or something like that. And then another one that'll be fun is cell phone cred. Who's the biggest name that people would know's name and number do you have in your cell phone?
Oh, that is a good one. I got to think, too. Like, I don't... Ooh. I thought about this the other day because somebody asked me, and then I named somebody, and then I realized, no, I have this... I actually have this dude's number in my phone. I'm going to be honest with you, JR. Probably as far as, like, one touch away, it's you at this point of, like, you're a one touch away from multiple celebrities. I've got governors' numbers.
That's what I was going to say. Probably a governor. I would say you probably have.
I don't have the current
because even for me, as many as I've got, a governor's. I mean, I'm glad I got so and so's number, but a governor
it ain't
that
a bad
helps.
number to have.
I probably have to go with that as one of my top ones there.
Yeah, for sure. Bubba. I mean,
yeah,
Seth.
I'm going with Seth for mine. I'm going with
Seth Money. Seth Money.
Seth Money in the house. I love.
I mean, I know that Brad Johnson.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's
Super
more
Bowl winning quarterback.
yeah,
You
and
know,
you'll see one sometime like, "Hey, well, I forgot I had their number or something." Because
exactly. But
mine's
yeah,
all over
yeah.
the place, and it just depends. I'm in the same
I
boat, but I
don't
thought
have
that'd be fun.
Justin's, but if I did, it would be him. I mean,
Yeah.
Justin Moore's a pretty damn big phone number,
Yeah.
JR,
Well,
but
and see, that'll be fun when
that
I'm with people from that in the music business or have a touch or live in that world of some way. There's no telling who they've worked with, who they hung out with, who they met along the line. You know, somebody's might be this manager and you're like, oh, Doc McGee. That's a good one to have. I don't know if I've got Doc's. Now I got Snake
right.
Sabo's number though. The guitar player for Skid Row, who's works for Doc McGee's management company. And then some of these you don't know if the numbers still work. You know, like I know I got a new number for Jamie Johnson a while back. His old number I had text for the last 10
Oh
years
yeah,
had
you
not been going to him. So, but he's not a big chit chatter on the text anyway, as you can
probably won't
imagine.
have
So,
him on the show, will we?
yeah, well, you know,
Doubtful.
so
You
but
never know.
there'll be so when I ask that, it'll be interesting to see someone who has, you know, see what people have. It's just an interesting thing,
That's
or just the most
great.
interesting number you have. You know, it's like I got my high school basketball coaches still. I still talk to that sucker, you know, or something just rando like that.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know,
I love that. I think those are great. I think those are great for your show. And if you forget one week, bring them over to our show. These are
and
fun.
well, and you know, for your show, I still want to contribute on that level, and that's what we'll dive more into. It seems like the people have spoken and they love the food content. I'm going
They
to lead
do.
more into the
They have
music on my
spoken.
show, so obviously, I'm always going to throw a couple of music tidbits out on the Tigs Bit show.
Yes.
But I'll lean more into the guest stuff for help on that side with people I meet along my way in conjunction with thinking about the music, like the Macklemore boys from New York. I still want to have them on. They're
Yeah.
game. They want to do
Yeah,
it, so
yeah,
we just
yeah.
need to
Yeah,
iron
yeah,
out a
yeah.
time.
Oh, that would be the
I mean,
folks who
they're
do
all
the
over.
catering up there.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
they're
that'd
at
be
the White House.
fascinating.
They're at this. They're at that. They're on Today Show. They're on all that stuff. They're in everything. So,
Oh
but they'd
yeah,
be
that'd be
down and they'd
great.
be fun. So that would be like an overlap. But those guys, you know, like who's y'all's? They'd be like, I actually got Bill Clinton's number or something random. You know, who knows?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude, that'd be great.
But
That'd be a
but
ton of fun.
I'll look when I'm out traveling and stuff, and I meet people that would be interesting for that angle of the show. I'll make sure to try to rope them in because that's what I thought. Everybody, you know, just having a guest on to have a guest on it doesn't mean anything. That's why I only
Right.
brought on a few that we did was because they all meant something for the time when we wanted to have them on. I always told people when we were doing Justin's that, you know, when you gonna get me on? I'm like, I don't know. You got something you're trying to hawk or promote? Let's do it then. Because not that we don't want to talk anyway, but why not make it count when you need some push for something, you know? I
Right.
mean, if it
Yeah,
works
yeah.
out that way, or if you got something you want to get out, this is a forum
Or
for you
you
to get
know
something
it's coming up. You've got
right.
something. You've
Well,
got you're
like
not
you,
touring. You know, you got a new
yeah, like your
album
show,
coming out.
yeah, your show should be a haven for that on that angle. When somebody's got a festival coming out, you're one of the main people. They're going to go on your show, talk
So
about
we
their
can promote
festival,
it.
so they can flip that and use that for stuff, but and get out ahead of it and think, you know, that cross
Yeah, yeah,
promotion.
yep, yep.
Make it make sense. There's no reason for it to come on, you know, 3 months after the festival, and there's gonna be 9 more months before it happens again. Maybe do it the week after and talk about what all went on, because then you know what I'm saying? Just make them count,
Yeah.
basically. Don't make it all count kinda
And
thing.
that goes back to quality over quantity and just all of that. That totally, oh yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense, dude. I think y'all are hearing out there that, and we're brainstorming again, like we said at the top of this show. We may ramble. We're going into. We're just going to brainstorm tonight about the direction of where we want to go, and we want y'all to be a part of listening to us do this together. One thing I didn't say at the top of this show, JR, that needs to be said, and if you made it this long, you're still listening to us, do us a favor, hit the follow button wherever you're
Yeah.
listening to this. If it's on Spotify, if it's on Apple, we drop new episodes damn near every week. So listen to them. Go back, listen to some of our other stuff. Leave us a review. It helps us. And if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe, drop a comment. We read them all. And we've had some interesting comments, JR. I'm going to get into that tomorrow night, which when y'all hear this, go back and listen to it. Comments, I've had a couple videos do really well. One's gone viral about smash burgers. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the comments. 70, 80, pretty much. The only people who started commenting once it got over 100, 200,000 views are the negative Nellies of the whole
Oh,
deal. Of
wah,
course,
wah,
who
wah.
hate smash burgers, and I find it hilarious, and I have ideas. I'll talk about that on that show, but y'all go check that out. drop us a comment, let us know. And I didn't get that out at the top of the show, JR, at all. But you brought Crystal Gale into the conversation, and this happened to me at the grocery store this evening. And I knew we were going to talk about some of the stuff. Didn't know what we'd talk about, but I knew we were going to talk about the news that's going on with our show, and I thought that was plenty. But you know your boy. I've got to come with a little bit more to the shows just in case we ran out of something to talk about. And I overheard the most hilarious conversation. I'm checking out, getting a couple pops, and I hear this young man talking about this young, attractive girl that's in the grocery store. I don't know her age, but she had said something about somebody calling her a cougar. And I'm guessing this girl's under 25 years old at best. And these guys are under 30. And so they're like, they start talking about cougars and what a cougar is. And for whatever reason, your boy couldn't help himself. This is in a grocery store. I said, no, bro, y'all got it wrong. Cougars are from 30 to 50. Any chick that's 30 to 50. And then just an immediately highly disagreed with that assessment. And then here we are. Homeboy comes out checking in or checking out. And he kind of leaned in and he went, well, dude, I'm dating a 21-year-old and I'm 50. And I'm like, I looked at him and I said, I think you're just bragging, bro. I mean, like I don't, she ain't a cougar or a
not
MILF.
at all.
No. So like, that's irrelevant. Maybe you're the cougar or whatever you are.
Jaguar. Manther.
He is, according to ChatGPT, he is a silver fox.
Silver fox.
He's a silver fox. Yeah. And he was a silver fox, actually. He had gray hair. I mean, yeah, totally. But it made me think, and I told the guys, he wrote it down. He gave me a pen. He's like, Nate, I told him, I said, dude, I have a podcast. This is a perfect podcast question. Hadn't thought about this. Definitely using this tonight. And he's like, I love podcasts. What's your podcast? I wrote it down on a little piece of paper for him. But it made me start to think, what is a cougar? And so, knowing what I do, I had to ask ChatGPT what technically
I would say
what do you say a cougar is?
45, 50 up.
Yes. Yeah. You're right.
I'm like a grown woman, like a
grown-ass woman.
Grown-ass woman, yeah.
So I kind of got my milk.
But I mean, basically like an older than me. I mean, I'm 45, so I mean, I think I'd say a cougar would, unless you're young, but yeah, I would say mid 40s probably would be the earliest on a coug. What does GPT say?
Well, that's it. Well, first of all, that's exactly what the argument became not the argument, just the conversation became in the grocery store. When I said 30 to 50, it was like, oh no, the kid was I call him a kid. God, I'm getting old. The young man was almost 30. He said, I'm not 30 yet. I'm not calling a 30-year-old a cougar. I'm almost 30, but I'm not calling a 30-year-old a cougar. I was like, when you're 47, you would. And then he's like, yeah, whatever. And then that's when the dude showed up, the silver fox. When he showed up. But they kind of agreed like that, and what ChatGPT says, I agree too. After leaving, I disagree with myself in the grocery store. I left it too broad. I've been selling too much insurance and looking at insurance bans and making them a 30 to 50-year-old. A cougar is an older woman, usually 40 plus, who actively pursues younger men. She doesn't have to be a mom. It's more about being assertive and confident in the dating game. An example, a 45-year-old single woman who dates 25-year-olds equals a cougar.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd agree with that assessment.
That's your Tigs Bits of the week right there.
There it is. So hey, go ahead.
Well, I had to go, what's the difference in a cougar and a MILF? A MILF as we all know what that word means, is an attractive mom, which I knew this, but regardless of who she dates, the term is usually used from an outsider's perspective, someone saying she's a MILF, not necessarily about who she's into. So an example is a 30-year-old mom who still looks like a snack. ChatGPT's words
Wow.
equals MILF.
Gotcha.
So if she still looks like a snack, she's a MILF.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There's your PSA for the week.
Yeah, there's your PSA. Hey, another one I just turned on to check on. I forgot. I was thinking of the chat, but then I realized we're not live. But I look, my buddy Dylan Frymer in Atlanta, Georgia, who I've talked about on here before, and I want to have him on. He's an interesting guy. He runs a pro wrestling promotion. He works for DDP. He works for AEW. He's my buddy. He's a big burly joker. He's about as wide as my desk. He's huge. His arms are huge. He's not the tallest guy on earth, but he is like, he looks like a wrestler. He is just broad. But I love Dylan. He's great.
A mound
his arms
of a
are huge in
man.
this video. Well, he lost his dog like a year and a half ago. Juju came up missing, couldn't find her. Chip couldn't find her. All this. A lady calls him and found his dog, and they
What?
reunited them like yesterday or the day before. It's on. It's on Fox First
Holy
or
cow.
Fox News in Atlanta, and all that. He posted. That's what made me think it made it to the. I know it was on a lot of different outlets here recently, but yeah, it's a big deal. He's crying like a baby, and he's huge with these big Steeler tats and
It's a
stuff.
big
So it's
old
kind of
teddy
funny,
bear.
but loved Dylan, and I'm so happy he got his pup back, and she's back home with him, and they're together again. It was a heartfelt moment, and I'm happy for him. But yeah, so I want to give a shout out to Dylan on that.
JR, I think this was another good show. I don't know if we want to call this, this is the continuation. This is part 2, and it will be called most likely the Deconstruction of Tigs Bits Part 2, but I don't really think that should be the name of this. I think the name of this show is the Reconstruction of Tigs Bits.
I wrote down over here, there's a song, and I want to say it's Jimi Hendrix with the Band of Gypsies and the drummer, which I'm lost. I'm not thinking right now. He's a famous drummer, but I can't think of his name right now. But song Going Through Some Changes, that song, Going Through Some Changes, man, Band of Gypsy song. That's just what I remember. That might be wrong, but that's what I remember. I'm going to go look it up on YouTube when we get done. But I think Going Through Some Changes might be a name of a podcast. Just going through some changes. Because it ain't nothing too crazy. We just going through some changes.
I think that's just right. I kind of like that. I kind of like that.
Because there's nothing. There's no big grab there. It's not like Blasi's came over to my house.
There's no drama.
Threaten me or not. It's like no. And we're all brothers. We knew kind of what was going on anyway. So it kind of worked out for the best. So it's really just that. It's just we're going through some changes. Nothing too crazy. It's nothing. It's good. It's like it's got a great groove. Everything's rocking on along. But we got Jimmy on guitar. It's gonna be great.
Great show, everybody. We'll see y'all soon.
See y'all.